What is the deadliest tornado in every state?
Alabama's worst tornado is the 1920 Russellville F4. This tornado had 88 fatalities and had a very long path of 129 miles.
Alaska has never had an injury or death from a tornado, and the state's highest-rated tornadoes have been high in the mountains and briefly touched down, as all of the Alaskan tornadoes were F-unknowns or F0 tornadoes.
Arizona's worst tornado happened in 1964 and hit Tucson, Arizona, and had 2 fatalities and 9 injuries as the tornado hit a Native American settlement, which is where the 2 deaths occurred. The deadliest tornado in Arkansas history is the 1927 Maynard F4 tornado that had 97 fatalities and killed 20 people in the Melbourne Hotel. California has never had a tornado with a death, and the most injuries from a Californian tornado was the 1983 La F2 that had 30 injuries. In 1924, an F4 tornado hit Thurman, Colorado and killed 10 people, as it is the deadliest tornado in Colorado history. In 1878, the deadliest tornado in Connecticut happened when an F4 tornado hit Wallingford and killed 34 people, making it the second deadliest New England tornado behind the 1953 Worcester tornado. 2 tornadoes are tied with 2 fatalities in Delaware. One of them is the 1944 Cambridge F3 and the other one is the 1983 Hartley F2. Florida's deadliest tornado is the 1998 Kimmissee tornado that had 25 fatalities. Georgia's deadliest tornado is the famous 1936 Gainesville F4 that had 203 fatalities, as it is the 5th deadliest tornado in United States history. Hawaii's worst tornado is the 1971 Kailua Kona F2 that had 4 injuries. The deadliest Idaho tornado is the 1936 Cul-de-sac Hill F3 that had 2 fatalities. The Illinois, Missouri and Indiana's deadliest tornado is the famous Tri-State tornado that is also the deadliest tornado in the United States, as it had 695 deaths. The deadliest Iowa and Nebraska tornado is the 1913 Omaha F4 that had 103 fatalities. The tornado was a multi-vortex, and pieces of steel from trains were found inside of wood from destroyed houses. The worst tornado in Kansas history is the Udall-Oxford F5 that killed 80 people, as multiple not well-built houses completely disintegrated because of the tornado's strength. The deadliest Kentucky tornado is the 1890 Louisville F4 that had 76 fatalities, as 55 people died in the Falls City Hall. The deadliest tornado in Louisiana and Mississippi history is the Great Natchez tornado that had at least 314 deaths, as slaves were not counted as the tornado crossed the Mississippi River and killed hundreds of people. Maine's worst tornado is an F2 that hit the northern part of the state and had 1 fatality and 1 injury. Pennsylvania and Maryland's worst tornado is the 1944 Westernport F4 that had 30 fatalities, although it is likely that this tornado was actually a family of tornadoes, but it still remains as the worst tornado in Maryland history. The worst Massachusetts tornado is the 1953 Worcester F4 that had 94 fatalities, making it one of the deadliest tornadoes in U.S. history, and it is also the deadliest tornado ever to hit New England. The worst tornado to hit Michigan is the Flint Beecher F5 that had 116 fatalities, as it is the 10th deadliest tornado ever. The deadliest tornado in Minnesota history is 1886 St. Cloud F4, as 74 people died, as it caused $300,000 not adjusted for inflation. Montana has 2 tornadoes that killed 2 people that are the 2010 Pleasant Prairie F3 and the 1923 Rivulet F1. The only 2 Nevada tornadoes to have an injury are the 1973 Reno F1 and the 1964 Yerington F1. In 1821, the worst tornado in New Hampshire history happened, which was an F unknown that had 6 fatalities as it hit New London and Windsor. The 2 New Mexico tornadoes with 2 fatalities are the 2007 Clovis EF2 and the Wagon Mound F2. The worst tornado in New York history is the 1989 Coldenham F1, as the tornado hit East Coldenham Elementary School and blew out a brick wall near the cafeteria and killed 9 students. One of the first terrible tornado outbreaks was the 1884 Enigma tornado outbreak that caused 60 recorded tornadoes, including an F4 that hit Rockingham and killed 23 people, making it the deadliest tornado in North Carolina history, as poorly constructed buildings were completely destroyed. The deadliest tornado in North Dakota history is the 1957 Fargo F5, as it is so far the last F5 tornado to hit North Dakota, killing 10 people. The Lorraine Sandusky F4 is the deadliest tornado in Ohio history, killing 85 people as 15 people died in a theater. The deadliest tornado in Oklahoma and Texas history is the famous Glazier-Higgins-Woodward F5, as horrifying damage occurred in Woodward, Oklahoma, as the tornado killed 107 people in the town alone, as the final death total was 181. The deadliest tornado in Washington and Oregon history is the 1972 Portland F3 that had 6 fatalities.
Rhode Island has never had a fatality from a tornado, but it has had injuries, as in 1986 an F2 hit the capital of Rhode Island called Providence, as the tornado injured 20 people. The worst tornado in South Carolina history is the 1924 Columbia F5 that is likely to have been a family of tornadoes, but that might not be true, so it still remains as the deadliest tornado in South Carolina history, killing 53 people. 2 tornadoes are tied for the most deaths from a South Dakota tornado, which are the Wilmot F5 and the Altamont F4 that both had 8 fatalities. In 1952, a tornado outbreak caused the worst tornado in Tennessee history, which is the Henderson F4 that caused high-end F4 damage, as it was nearly rated higher. The deadliest tornado in Utah history is the 1999 Salt Lake City F2 that killed 1 person as it went straight through downtown, as I talk more about this tornado in my video about tornadoes that have hit big cities, so make sure to watch that video. Probably the oldest tornado on this list is the deadliest tornado in Vermont history, as it is the 1792 West Clermont F unknown that killed 1 person. The deadliest tornado in Virginia history is the 1929 Rye Cove F2 that had 13 fatalities, as it was part of a tornado outbreak that hit the Appalachians and killed over 50 people. Virginia's western counterpart has seen a lot more tornado activity, as the deadliest tornado in West Virginia history is the 1944 Kalamazoo tornado that had 100 fatalities, making it one of the worst tornadoes in United States history. A state with even more tornado activity is Wisconsin, as its worst tornado in the state's history is the 1899 New Richmond F5 that had 117 fatalities, as most of the town was completely destroyed. Lastly, the deadliest tornadoes in Wyoming history is a tie between the 2005 Wright F2 and the 1942 Ferguson Center F2, as both of these tornadoes had 2 fatalities. Because you made it so far into the video, I will give you some bonus United States territories that have got tornadoes. Puerto Rico has had an injury from a tornado when an F1 hit Caye-Mango in 1969 and injured 1 person. 150 people were injured when an F2 hit the District of Columbia or D.C. in 1927, making it the worst tornado in Washington, D.C. history. Please subscribe and thank you for watching.